you're back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. It's fucked up Fridays again, and I've got a story. I've got a fucking story for you. That's not mine. Someone's chopped me out this week, thanks to the hand. It's also from one of the ladies as well. One of my faves. She's been listening from the start. Big supporter of Boyle comedy, and I'm quitting alcohol. When I say supporter, she's liked a few of my shit. I love reading the listeners' stories. It's good to know there's other dirtbags out there. My people are dirtbags. Scumbags, you can call them. Lowlives. Good people with good hearts. Okay, I'm just going to get straight into it this week. This story is from... I forgot to ask her if she wanted her name changed, but I'm just going to go on the fact she changed all the names in the stories and the content to the story. I'm going to say she is not going to want to be named. So I'm just going to call her Wednesday. Wednesday Adams. Okay, here we go. This is fucked up Fridays. This story really illustrates how much of a piece of shit I am whilst I'm on the sauce. I was 18 and it was summer just after I'd graduated high school. My boyfriend Chuck is a real dirtbag name. That mustn't have ended well. Who I'd been with for 4 years was out of the state visiting his mum. In other words, visiting his side tang. I was out at a friend's house party. My boyfriend's roommate, friend, bandmate, Lester. Fuck, they are all dirtbag names you've got for these people. He was also at the party. Lester's longtime girlfriend and personal friend of mine was not. I forget why. I think you know where I'm going with this one. We raged on into the wee hours of the night. I was really into snorting Adderall at the time. I've never tried Adderall. That's one of the ones I want to try. Is it just a brand name? Isn't it just meth? I think they call it here Ritalin. Is it different to Ritalin or Dexedrine? Because I've done plenty of Ritalin and Dexedrine. Even if it is the same as that, I'd still like to try Adderall. Just to say I have. I was really into snorting Adderall at the time, allowing me to continue drinking way past my normal limits with enthusiasm, which I enjoyed. It was probably around 6 a.m. when myself, Lester, and 2 other people found ourselves heading toward the highway to Iowa, about a 6-hour drive. The girl driving had a rich family, and her grandparents had a property in Iowa with an old house with guns, golf course, lake, and other fun shit in this small, charming Iowa town. I love reading these stories. After like a paragraph or two, you start getting into the writing and you become like a fucking novelist. The drive there was particularly fun and I look back on it fondly. We were having a grand time in our car bar, snorting Adderall, standing out the window, screaming and touching the road as we sped toward Iowa. I passed out at some point on the way there, woke up to my friends wading in the Mississippi River while Lester, the only guy old enough to buy booze amongst us all, went into Walmart to restock our supply. Our party continues. This little rural Iowa town was beautiful, like something out of a painting, and real life seemed a million miles away. Her grandparents were wild, immediately made us sandwiches and cocktails, moonshine of his own, and showed us around their beautiful property. Drunkenly, I learned to golf at the driving range, watched the others shoot guns, and staggered through town, peering into old farmhouses and prancing through nature. It felt like an entirely different era and time, like we were in the past. This is like the movie Deer Hunter. The first hour and a half, they're just lurking around town, and you're like, what the fuck is going on here? And then the second half, it's like, oh yeah, it gets pretty fucking wild. We were well into the second day of our bender and were to stay the night in Iowa at our grandparents'. After getting nice and sloshy throughout our shenanigans, our 2 friends went to bed in one of the several guest rooms at the house, leaving Lester and I awake by the power of Adderall and alcoholism. We decided to go on a night walk. Dangerous. The more we drank, the sappier and sloppier we got, and I eventually found myself laying in a field making out with him. We started walking back to the house, discussed how awful of people we were, while holding hands. Nice. Still buzzing with drunk energy, we had a few more drinks back at the house, leading to more making out. The area the grandparents suggested we sleep in was a big attic-type room, that had like 6 different beds they used for when all the grandchildren came to visit. Instead of us each going into our own bed and sleeping innocently as we should have, we fucked. That's the part of the Deer Hunter where Christopher Walken has a gun to his head and he pulls the trigger and it just goes, just clicks. I stupidly left a hickey on his neck. Hickeys are for middle schoolers and 18-year-olds, please. Please, I was doing hickeys well into my 20s. It's a good way to mark property. Hickeys are for middle schoolers. I still don't know why I did that. I remember accidentally calling him by my boyfriend's name several times and then saying, oh shit, sorry. It must have been out of habit and my brain wasn't functioning properly. The next morning was rough. Yeah, my word, it was rough. Drank a lot of water, drove back a bit more solemnly than we had come, which is the rule of coming back from a road trip. In the car on the way back, no talking, no eye contact. Just music and stay in your own head. You're not going to be friends again for another week. But Lester and I vowed to make it cool and make it a night we never speak about again. The other 2 friends were to remain clueless. The next 2 days further proved my abhorrent nature. Lester's girlfriend, who I'll call Beth the slapper, called me in a fury to vent about the hickey she found on Lester's neck. She said his excuse was that he was wrestling with someone at a party during our bender and must have got him bruised while he was in a headlock or something. That's the kind of excuse I would expect from someone named Lester. Even someone fakely named Lester. That's about as good as you're going to get. I laughed and said, that's dumb. But oh wait. I did see him wrestling at the party, so perhaps it is the truth. Who knows? Fuck yeah, nice pivot. I did not see him with any other girls, I solemnly swore. Yeah, because you were solemnly blowing him in a king-size bed. I guess the 2 other friends that accompanied us to Iowa also noticed the hickey and admitted to Beth we were quite flirty while on our trip. A few hours after talking to Beth on the phone, I'm reading on the front porch and I see Beth's car pull up and she gets out, visibly fucking pissed, breathing heavy, intense. I wouldn't want to fuck with Beth. I know she knows. I put my book down and get ready to get my ass beat. She starts screaming at me, asking me what we did. I'm a slut, etc., etc. But during her tirade, I sense that she doesn't know absolutely everything and that it appeared Lester had not confirmed our fucking to her. I admitted, yes, I know I'm awful. It was a drunken mistake. We realized that after our making out and me sucking on his neck and mutually decided to go to our separate beds and sleep. That's it. I made out with your boyfriend and gave him a hickey and I'm so sorry. I would later reiterate this to my poor boyfriend Chuck. Beth was ready to attack, her hands balled up in fists, and she would start to lunge at me, then stop. Her screaming attracted the attention of my adorable 4-year-old little sister at the time, who was watching all of this from the window by the front door. Beth informed me my skank ass was lucky my baby sister came to the door, otherwise she would have fucked me up. All I could really do was apologize and nod and agree with everything Beth was saying. As soon as Beth left, I immediately texted Lester our newly constructed Iowa story so we could confirm it when his turn came. After all this happened, Chuck broke up with me, kicked out Lester, the band broke up. Fuck the band. Oh, you split the band up. Oh, there's the real tragedy. They could have been Metallica, old Chuck and Lester. Oh well, I guess we'll never get to hear their beautiful music. So the band broke up. Beth stayed with Lester. They're still together to this day, I believe, 10 years later. Fucking Beth. Was Beth a fatty? Beth was a fatty, wasn't she? I always want to see the people in these stories too. Beth never talked to me again, but that's fine because she was always kind of a cunt anyway. I'm married to a different guy now who drinks as much as I do, but since growing up, I don't let myself get so carried away that I break other people's hearts. Thank you for your time. No, thank you for yours, Wednesday. I appreciate the story. Thanks for sending it in. It was good to get a chop out this week. Enjoy your weekends. Hit me up on social media. I'm Boyle Comedy on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. If you're enjoying the podcast, rate, review, subscribe it. Tell your friends about it. See ya fucking later.